The Soil Health Partnership releases a new cover crop report giving farmers more insight about their yields this year going into the next couple months. Now, joining us on the phone for the breakdown, we have SHP Illinois Field Manager Jim Iserman. Thanks for joining us. This is a very timely conversation. Why did SHP pursue a formal cover crop report, though, to begin with?
Well, we pursued this report because we wanted to make sure that we were relaying some of the important steps that growers are taking in order to establish cover crops. So this is looking primarily at what was established last year in 2019 and how those cover crops are going to fare going into the next year.
Okay, so this is important information a lot of our farmers are probably interested in right now. But who is your intended audience, and what are some of the key takeaways from that report that farmers are interested in right now?
So there'll be a number of people that'll be interested in this information. Certainly farmers are going to want to be able to look at the different techniques that farmers are using, the different species, and especially the costs. And it'll also have some more implications for policy development, things like that, wanting to look at, particularly what are the expenses associated with getting a cover crop established. So some of the highlights that we looked at are going to be looking at different planting methods as well as the costs of different species and the costs of different planting methods and the dates and different ways that farmers are getting these on.
Okay. I got to ask you, because you are in Illinois right now and we do have this very interesting weather forecast going forward. How are crops looking right now in your state, and what's the expectation top of mind for farmers when it comes to that forecast?
Well, we are certainly getting hot and dry in a lot of places. There's been a lot of pop-up rains and showers, so it kind of depends on where you are. And we're certainly kind of hoping from that cover crop side of things that we could have had those successful cover crops that were there in the springtime. We're certainly hoping to start seeing some positive benefits out of those fields that are going to help hopefully retain some moisture, but still at the same time set us up for another good year of cover crop establishment this fall.
You talk about cover crops. The most widely planted cover crop is cereal rye. Is that a crop that you're seeing become a little bit more widely adapted by our farmers across the country?
Sure, that was one of our big findings of the program, both in the timing that it went out there. We saw a very wide window of timing for cover crop application. We saw almost half the farmers planting between mid-September and early November, but we saw close to the other half going outside of what we would consider those typical timeframes for cover crops. And a big reliance upon cereal rye. 50% of the growers were putting out single species, and that was really dominated by cereal rye cover crops because of its winter hardiness and its inexpensiveness and its ease of use. But we also saw cereal rye included in some of the more complex mixes as well to a pretty high degree.
Wow. All right. If you'd like more information, you can visit soilhealthpartnership.org. SHP Illinois Field Manager Jim Iserman, really appreciate you joining us.